Man, look at the countries that weren't able to play Helldivers because they couldn't make a PlayStation Network account. And as you notice, there's a country here that's censored. It's got a lot of hearts. I wonder what the name of this country is. What do you guys think? Should I tell you? The name of this country is Niger. Niger, right? It's like Nigeria, but it's got another G, and it doesn't end with IA. Man, I love this country. Unironically, every single time there's the Olympics, you will see someone from Niger competing, and the Americans are losing their shit. It's like only the Americans, like the Europeans are fine with it. People from South America, people from Canada, but the Americans, they're losing their shit. The Democrats especially. Not the Democrats, the politicians, because they probably have heard of Niger. But like the people that vote Democrat, like they literally can't sleep at night because on their computer screen is a representative from Niger with you know, like the proud letters sporting his country. And it's usually white people, especially of the feminine variety. Like white female liberals are the ones that usually raise a ruckus up on this on Reddit before people tell them, look, it's actually a country. Like it's not that someone got control of the keyboard and made this into a hate. No, it's calm down, lady. Calm down. Sony had to backpedal, much to the horror and dismay of the Sony shills. Like, unironically, there are people over the internet that are freaking out over the fact that a multi-billion-dollar corporation had to listen to some of its customers. And they're saying, you know, Helldivers fans, we heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current player beginning May the 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thank you for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated with future plans. Now, the internet is adequately saying that Helldiver fans, Steam issued refunds, and EU contacted us about fraud charges. You won this time now. We're still learning how to rip you off legally, and we're not quite where we want to be, which is probably the actual soul of the message. But again, going back to the Sony shills, they are absolutely dismayed, bewildered. It's like, why don't you just show your government ID to play the game, you bigot? Well, are you some right-wing Trump supporter incel? Why don't you just show your government ID to Sony to allow you to play the game? What is wrong with you? It just takes 7 steps. You know, 7 steps, account verification. Why don't you put up with the community managers that have nothing but disdain and disgust towards you? Why don't you like their community managers, you bigot? I mean, they literally tell you to give a bad review to the game, and if you don't like it, don't buy it or refund it, right? Why don't you put up with the plump community manager lady, huh? Are you some sort of bigot? Unironically, there are many reasons why this has worked. First of all, it does seem that gamers as a whole is becoming an identity again. Like gamers are finding a connection within each other's, and they are fighting for the same causes, which usually translates to consumer awareness. And up until this point, gamers haven't been united, which is why you get bullshit like this from many corporations that are basically trying their best in order to monetize you more. Because at the end of the day, this thing gives Sony money. The whole purpose is to harvest data from its user base and then sell it to third parties like advertisers. In other words, you're paying already for a game. In some cases, you can pay all the way up to $120 for a deluxe edition for the game. You're paying for the console. And now they also want to harvest your data, and Sony isn't really renowned for having good security and good systems in place to protect the data that they harvest, because they have been hacked in the past. But they get to monetize it, so they don't give a shit, right? And basically, gamers have said enough. Now, the reason that so many people were upset is because Sony has dropped the ball several times up until now. Like one of the most anticipated games of the year, Stellar Blade, comes out, and they basically say, well, we're not going to censor anything, but people are pointing hands at Sony, and they're saying, no, you made these guys censors. Now, it's not about Stellar Blade, and it's not about, like, the little bit of costume that they added extra. But it's a pattern, it's a trend, and it's the hypocrisy of it. Like, you get to see all these Western shitty games, like The Last of Us 2, which literally has, like, pornography in it. Or you get to see Baldur's Gate 3, where the characters can have sex with demons and you can have a chick with a dick that's fully naked. But when it comes to an anime game, like, Sony freaks out. And it's like this level of hypocrisy that keeps pissing people off and off. And there is so much goodwill that you can lose until people are going to have beef with you. So, you know, maybe if Ubisoft would have required for one of their games for people to make accounts, it wouldn't have ended with this backlash. Maybe if Blizzard would have done it, it wouldn't have made it with this backlash. But there is just so much things that Sony has done recently to piss off gamers to the point where they're getting backlash. And I want to say, like, as a company, to get to the point where people will rather refund their game or not support a game that they like just because you're asking them to make a free account, that gotta hurt, doesn't it? Like that is really bad, isn't it? Is anyone at Sony going to get fired over this? Like, how do you get to that point? How do you get to the point where, yeah, like, someone just being asked to create an account would just go on Twitter, spend their time in order to tell you to fuck off as a company, refund the game, and say that they will not purchase any other game from that developer? Like, that, how do you get to that level? You know, they constantly talk about inclusivity and all that shit. You're not being very inclusive, are you? And by the way, inclusivity is the reason that they got into this situation to begin with, because the whole purpose of you linking your account to your ID, to your actual Sony thing, was so that they can moderate better, so that they can ban you better, so that they can listen in to your in-game communications better and enforce their principle, their way of thinking, their way of life into your household. And this is why most big gamers are fed up with it. Like, no, gamers like banter. Gamers like gamer words. We have our culture, which shouldn't be decided by a multi-billion-dollar corporation that no one voted for. And if you want to play the politics game, then people are going to vote with their wallets and tell you to fuck off. Now, I do have it on an insider, and take this with a grain of salt, that one of the main reasons that they wanted people to link their accounts is because a lot of people canceled their PlayStation Network accounts with the Stellar Blade controversy. And again, they're like, oh shit, well, we can't actually make money by selling good games because we don't have any exclusives, we don't have that many games to sell. One of the best ways we can monetize is to harvest data from the users. But if the users don't have PlayStation Network accounts, how can we harvest data? And it also looks bad to the shareholders. It looks bad if like 10,000 or 20,000 people cancel their accounts. So we're going to use Helldivers, which is a very popular game on PC. We're going to link it with the PC. Maybe we can even harvest data from the PC. And we're going to compensate with the accounts that we lost. But they end up losing even more. So I'm really glad that this happened. And I also noticed that not only gamers are capable of rewarding games that cater to us and give the middle finger to the progressive woke mob, like that Wizards game, and there was also the Coffin of Ashley and Lele. Like basically, if you get the woke mob to hate your game, you're going to make money at this point. Like, literally, you can monetize these moral busybodies. Stellar Blade was also making money before they ended up doing shady shit with Sony. But it's also that gamers are willing to turn around the games that even they supported a couple of weeks ago, like Helldivers and even Stellar Blade, and say, no, we do not like what you're doing, we do not appreciate it, it's not in our interest as consumers, like, you're not really offering us, and we don't give a shit if everyone else does the same, like, maybe other companies will get their turn, but we are sending a message. We are sending a message that we are tired of being screwed around with. We are tired of being taken for granted, and we do not want to show you our government ID and normalize this practice, where if you want to play a game, you gotta do 7 steps, and the third step is showing ID. By the way, this is only for UK and Ireland. If you haven't seen it now, you know why it is. But very disturbing, isn't it? It's like, show facial skin. Jesus. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.